Okay, sight reading trainer. We're all trying to get better at reading notes, and maybe I can help with that. And I also learn as I do it. Okay, that's an F. F. That's a G. And I'm gonna do more. Going to be a little more speedy up on the treble. Okay, C. And that's a G. G B D F A. That's a C. A C E G. A C E G. That's an A. That's an F. That's an A flat. Middle C sharp. D right above middle C. G. That is not a C flat, which would be a B. That is an E flat. Okay? E flat. E flat. G. Middle C. A. G. G flat. And there's a G flat there too. G, B, D, F, A. And it's G flat. E. C. E flat again. Okay, they're working on the E flat. That's a B flat. That's an A. A little thing here, that's an A, and the bottom line is a G. So that's something you've got in your arsenal, that you got a G and an A. You already know those two. And right in the middle, learn that too. It's a D. So it's G, D, A. Okay? So that right there is an A, and we're going to keep on going. 27 notes. Okay. That's an F. That's an A. A, C, E, G. Okay, A. I'm outside, you'll hear a dog barking. You might hear cars going by. You might hear a lot of things. Cows, horses. Yeah, I kid you not, goats. B. That's a B. G, B, D, F, A, B. That's an F sharp. That's a D. That's a gift. I'll discuss as we go. That's a D. D in the bottom is your gift. Just keeping that in mind. D. That's an F. G, B, D, F, A. So that's an F. Okay? F. That's a C. I think we all know that that's a middle C. It's a B. That's your gift at the top. We will discuss what that's all about, the gift. Okay? B. Okay, that's a B. And that's an A. A, C, E, G. Not all cows eat grass, just A, C, E, G. Learn it that way. Okay? And that's an F. That's a B. That's your gift at the top. You'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit. B. E flat. G. Now G, B, D, F, A. G, B, D, F, A. That's an F. That's a C sharp, middle C, and it's a sharp right above middle C. And that is a B flat. Okay? That's a G flat. G, B, D, F, A, and just a G flat. And that's an A sharp. Okay? That's an E. E, F, G, or E, G. Just take your piano and put your hand on E. Actually, you can do it on the virtual piano over here. That's an E, F, G, or just E, G. Notice that you can see what's going on here. Use everything you can. E, G, B. Those are the notes of what you would see there. That's an E. Next one is G, and the next one is B. So E, G, B. Also, that tells you that if that's the same way, that if that's E, 2 lines down would be C, and you can figure that out by looking at the piano again, C, E, G, B, which the ones that have been doing this for a while, that is a C major 7 if you were to have a chord C, E, G, B, a stacked chord. Here we go. And that is, what did we say that was? Yeah, that's an E. Okay. And now that's an F. That's an A. F sharp. D sharp. That's a G flat. A, C, E, G flat. That's an E flat. That's a G flat. G, B, D, F, A. And it's G flat. Okay. And that's an A sharp. That's the E. That is an E flat. That's a G sharp. That's a D. That's an A sharp. Remember, now you switch back down to G, B, D, F, A. That's a G. We're good to go on that. That's middle C. Okay, that's an A, because you can look at Every Good Boy Does Fine Always, or E, G, B, D, F, or you can just see that the E, as you've known for a long time, you've been playing for a while, the E is in the treble, or G clef, is the first line, and then as you ascend on the last line, it's F. E, G, B, D, F. Well, the next one, look at the bottom of your screen. E, G, B, and go back over to D, D, F. So what we're on here is we're past F. So we didn't have to do all that. We just have an F. So we didn't have to do all that, just showing you that you can do it more than one way. F, A. So that is an A. Went the long way around on that. Okay. That's a D flat. That's a B. How do I know it's a B? Well, I just know it is. But here's a big clue. I want you to look down at the stem. You know, I said this was G, B, D, F, A. Okay. Look at the stem. It's pointing right at the B note. And this particular one and some of the others, and I was doing Alla Turca, the rondo in it, and it actually had this kind of, in the music, it actually followed this pattern pretty decent. Okay, so this actually exists in music where it points right directly. It's not in all, but in a lot of the computer music, it's like that. Okay, G, B. I don't know about a lot, but some. G, B, and that's a B. And that is your gift. I'm going to take a minute to talk about that. Normally, I don't talk about it until I see a D, but we're going to talk about it and forget about the sharp for the time being. Okay? If you'll notice, that's 2 spaces above. That's a D. Okay? But it would be a D sharp in this case. If it was the same thing and it was just turned around like facing you, and you went down 2 lines below with this, you would have a D sharp. That's a gift. And right in the middle is really a D. So it would actually be a D and not a D sharp. But the idea is there, and take advantage everything you can. This points to the D note. And in this case, you have to just put the sharp on there. Okay? And so that's a D sharp. That's a difficult concept. Okay? But when you see a D, then it's going to make a lot of sense. D sharp. And we're 65 notes. Okay, that's a G flat. Okay. That's an A sharp, G, B, D, F, A, and a sharp. and that's a G for guitar players. I'm one, so been playing since I was 12. That's a G, and so that's a G, and we'll just go with G. That's a D flat. Now what is that? Okay, okay, that is an A, because the F is the last line. Look at your virtual answer key there at the bottom. F, G, A, and F, A in the lines. So that is an A, and we're going to press an A. Okay, that's an A flat. They're giving you a little clue there. Okay, A flat, A, C, E, G, and you just put the flat on there. Okay, and that's an E flat. How do I know that? Well, it's one of those things you get it wrong enough, and you put C flat, and you get it wrong enough many times, and on the various ones, and you go like, I'm not going to get that wrong again. That's an E flat. C is 2 lines below. Okay, so C is 2 lines below, E is 1 line below, but this is E flat, and we're just going to go with E flat. 72 notes. Okay, that's a G flat, because that's G there and A at the top on the lines in the bass clef, so that's a G flat. Okay, so now what is that? Okay, that is a G sharp. Okay, and I want you to look at your line. See that line? See that stem? Forget about it being a sharp. You can put that on at the end, but look at that. It's pointing right at G, and then you just say G sharp. So that's the one thing you might want to look at when you're doing this. It also reinforces things. Okay, so that's a G sharp, and we're going to do that. Now that is an A. We just discussed it, but also look at where it's going. Look at that. So that's like a clue, like it's looking at you and going like, oh, there it is all this time. That's an A. Okay, that's an E flat. Okay, you might also think of the D being right in the middle there, right by the E flat. So you can, that's a good way to tell. And also you can also think A, C, E, G. Not all cows eat grass, because that slows you down, and I'll get into the thoughts on that some other time. A, C, E flat. Okay, that's an E flat. A, C, E, G, and the E is flatted. Okay, that's a G sharp. And look at it pointing right to that. It's pointing right at the G, and you put the sharp with it. Okay, I like gifts like that. That's nice. Not all apps do that, and when you do with anything without a stem, like a whole note, then you're lost there, because it doesn't give you that clue. Okay, so that right there is a G sharp. No mistakes yet. Starts all over when you make a mistake. Okay, that's an F sharp. Look where it's pointing up. It's also showing you that's your F. G, B, D, F, A. G, B, D, F. See it pointing there? And you just go, okay, I just say F sharp, and you'd be right. And that's just a regular F. See, it's still pointing to F. Okay, and we'll do that. And that's an E. We all know that. That's a D. All day long, it's D there, and up in the treble, it's going to be B. Okay, that would be something to really learn. Okay, okay, that is a D. Take it to the bank. That's an F. Okay, so you're playing D, F. So you just went up a minor third. You know, you're doing diatonic chords, which a lot of people don't know what I'm talking about. Just ignore what I'm talking about. Sometime I go a little bit above, or sometime below. So right now we're going to just say this right here and look at that. And that right there is an F. Okay. Am I seeing that right? Yes. Okay. F. And that's an F sharp. That's a G sharp. GBDFA with a sharp on it. So it's G sharp. And GBDFA, a regular G. That's a C sharp. So we'll put C sharp. That's an A. That's an E. That's an F again. How did I know that? Well, I know it from working at it hard, but GBDF. Okay. Oh, by the way, don't compare. I found I used to compare the top and the bottom. Don't compare them. When you're working on one, don't put the other one out of your mind. Of course, when you're doing regular music, you can't really do that, but we're just fighting one battle at a time, and we're not doing them in two different clefs. Okay. Just think, and it's training you to just think. Don't compare it to anything else in another clef, at least for the time being. Sometime you can find some enlightenment there too. That's an F. GBDF, A. That's an F. And that is a C. That is a gift. It's the same thing. That C is symmetric about, if you roll it up to the top and put it 2 lines out, that will be C up there also. And it's symmetric about the middle C. We'll put C. Now it's kind of interesting. So if that is, what is that? Dun 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 dun. I'm trying to do Jeopardy. Anyways, that is a B. See, right by the C there. Okay, but it's not exactly like, it's not out. It's inside. So you really can't consider that part of that other thing I just showed you where it's outside of the, but it's just what they're doing is they're staying in C's and B's and trying to give you what's going on. And then you, as time goes on, you'll notice these patterns. But that right there is a B. It points to B, and we're going to put a B. We're going to put a C sharp. Okay. That's an E. That's a B flat. That's an F sharp. That's just an F. That is going up and pointing to the D, 2 spaces out, but it's a D sharp. And notice that that's pointing up to the B. And guess what? That's a B. And that's an F sharp. I'm going to make a mistake before it's over with. And that's a G flat. And that's an F. And that's a C. And that's an F. Okay, that's a G, B, D, F, A. So that is a B flat there. Okay? That is C. That's one of your C's. Okay, that's a C. A, C, E, G, or Ace G. Okay? Also, be noticing that if you said that's a C, right below that would be a B, and right below it would be an A. Okay? And right below would be a G, and right below that be an F. So know the surrounding ones and be able to say them backwards and forwards. And the reasoning on that is if you play music, what happens is you'll see lines going down and you'll see lines going up and skipping spaces and so forth and so on. So that right there is a C as I talk a lot. Okay, that's a D. That's a G flat. Okay, G flat, GBDFA. It's not that I'm just talking for no reason. I'm trying to get a lot of information out in a short time. Okay, now that is a what? It points down. It's pointing to a B, but we all know that it's E, G, B, D, F. Every good boy. Okay, so that is a B. Okay, that's an E flat. Okay, notice you're right by where the D is. Okay, and that makes sense, right? D, E flat. But we're going to just call this E flat and we'll move on. That's an A sharp. 110 notes, G flat. Okay, GBDFA. Okay, G flat. And what is that? Anytime you see that in the bass clef, that's going to be a D. In the bass clef, it's a D. In the treble clef, something like that would be a B. Okay, so that's a D, and that's an F, and that's a G, A, C, E, G, and what is that? That's a G sharp. E, G, B, D, F sharp. So, excuse me, wrong. E, G, B, D, F, and it's G sharp. I knew it was G sharp, but when I did it, well, you saw what happened. Okay, so G sharp, and we're going to go with G sharp. Caught it before it became a major problem. And see how that goes right up to the middle one? So that's some form of D, and it's a D sharp. And that's a C, we all know that. And that's a G, we all know that. That's an E, E, E. Okay, see how it also points up to A, C, E? Okay, so that's a clue. And look at that, it's 2 lines up, but it's a flat. And see, it's pointing to the middle one. The middle one is a D, so that's a D flat. Take it to the bank. Okay? When I say take it to the bank, I mean fairly sure. Okay, and that's a G. Okay, and that's a B. And that's an A sharp. And that is a C sharp. That's one of those gifts. Goes on 2 clefs at the top, above the treble. If you had that same thing with a sharp on it, it would also be a C sharp. Now also notice it's pointing to C, and that reinforces where C is in the bottom clef, the bass clef. Okay, so that's C sharp, and that's A flat, A, C, E, G, A flat, and that's a C, and that's middle C, and that's D, and that's A sharp. Okay, A sharp, because E, G, B, D, F, and you can look on your thing on the bottom, F, and you skipped something. I don't remember if it was a line or a space, doesn't matter. F to A, so that's an A sharp. Okay, and that's a C. Look at what happens. That is pointing right up to middle C. That is pointing to middle C. When I found this out, that it was doing this amazing thing, oh, it made life so much easier. And I was using it to some degree. I don't ever hardly use it now, but it's a good way to see things. Sometimes you miss things. And so that stem is pointing up to the C, and it's middle C. And we're going to say C, and we're going to say that's an E. Don't be thinking that that's a C. That is not a C. That is E, and also see where it's pointing. Cars going by. A, C, E. That's pointing up. That's a nice little gift there. Okay, so that's pointing at right in the middle of the third space up, A, C, E, G, and E, and so forth. And that is an E. Now, that's C. It's middle C. Let's just put it. And that's G. We all know that, I think. And that's C sharp. Okay, that's a D. Ah, that's not a D sharp. That's an F sharp. Gotta watch out for that. It's a real learning process. Okay. That's a G sharp, A, C, E, G sharp. Okay. A, C, E, G sharp. And that's the one, look at the stem. It's pointing to the middle one, and that's a D sharp. And you can also go through the motions of D, F, A, C, and go to D. But you'll learn that that's just 2 lines out is, 2 spaces out is whatever that middle one is. Okay? And so that's a D sharp. I'm going to put it. Okay, D, that's F sharp. And what is that? That's A flat. Why do I know it? Because F, look on your piano at the bottom, F, forget about being flats or sharps. F, go to A, that's A flat. Okay, that's A sharp. A, C, E, G, A sharp. And that's A, and that, don't think of that, but you can see the stems pointing in. You can just see now that's a D. D. And that's why we're doing so many notes. We're just seeing that over and over again. And when you go to your piano or just look at your, things will open up on your keyboard just as you're looking at it. Not, you'll just see things in a different light if you haven't seen this before. So that's a D. And that's not a D sharp, that's an F sharp. Okay? F sharp. F. And if you want to see that, forget about the sharp, just time being, we're learning F, A, C, E. See how it follows a pattern? F, next space is A, next space is C, next space is E, and next space is G. But we're just doing this and calling it F sharp, and we'll let it go with that. Now that's right in the middle, so that's a D sharp. We're going to be right. Okay, that's two spaces out. It's pointing down the D. You put the sharp with it. That's now a D sharp. I'm going to make a mistake, I know. D, and that's a B. That's an F. I'm not spending, that's an E flat. A, C, E flat. And that's a B. G, B, D, F, A, or good boys. That's a B. Okay, B. And that's an F. And that's an F sharp. I started to say that was something else. Okay, because I make mistakes. F sharp. And that is a C. All day long, that's a C. Okay, so we're going to go to B. And guitar players, that's a G. That's a G. That's all there is to it. Just remember that. If you're a guitar player, it's a G. Now, you can look at this another way, is that is right below an A, because C is the first line down, A is the next line down, and if you went A on the, just look at your keyboard on the bottom, A, and it goes back to G. So G, A, and then C. You can kind of follow that on the bottom. You have to go back to the beginning. Okay, so we're going to go with G, and that's a D, and that's an E flat. We've covered that before. Okay, that's a C sharp, always is. That's a G. That is, what is that? Middle C, so it's a C sharp. Okay, what is that? No, it's not an F sharp. That's an A sharp, A, C, E, G, but put a sharp with it, A sharp. And that's a G sharp. Okay, G sharp. I think we all know those. And that is a C also. Okay, also you can see, look, if you went, F was that last line up there, and F, A, C, and generally speaking, if you have two lines or two spaces, it turns out to be actually three. If I went from the last line up, which would be F, and you just count it, including the one that you're coming from, that is a 5 of some sorts. And I say 5 of some sorts, just let it go at 5 of some sorts. Okay, it's not always. Okay, it is not always a perfect fifth. Okay, and so, but also you can see it's pointing down at something there, and it's pointing to the C. Okay, so that's a big clue. Also, you can look at that as F, A, C. You can do it on your piano at the bottom. F, A, you have to go over to C. Okay, and so we're going to say that's C. And we're going to say that's B flat, G, B, D, F, A, and there's a flat on the B. Okay, and what is that? That's an A flat, A flat. Okay, we went over that before. We're going to keep on going. That's a G, A, C, E, G. Okay, that's all cows eat grass, but I don't use those. But I want to show you where this is coming from. All cows eat grass, or A, C, E, G. Okay, and also you can if you know some theory, A, C, E, G is an A minor 7. If you don't know theory, don't. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you will someday. That's the plan. Okay, and this is a G. Okay, and that is a D flat. Okay, that's a G. We already went over it. Guitar players. Okay, and here is a G. Okay, that's a G sharp, and that's a G flat, because remember, guitar players, G, and that's a G flat, and that's an A sharp, and that is an A sharp. They went right down, and look where it's pointing at. If you want to say G, B, D, F, A, and C, that's pointing right at A, and you put a sharp on it, and you're good to go. And that right there is pointing right to the E, but let's just call it E, and just know that that's E.